ascending because he had compassion on his people and on his dwelling place. See, that's why it's called the vineyard, because the vineyard is distinguished by the location where it's at. And this is the Lord's location. This is where God wants to dwell, brothers and sisters, right over there in Jerusalem, in Israel. That's where he wants to dwell, and he wants righteousness around him and in the whole earth. And that's where it's going to be in the end. But in the meantime, he sent, and what happened? 16.
But they mocked the messengers of God.
Oh, they mocked the messengers of God and did what to him?
And despised his words. And misused his prophets.
And misused his prophets. Just like the parable Jesus gave, right? Then Jesus said they beat one, stoned another, killed another. They mocked the messengers, despised his words, misused his prophets. Until what?
Until the wrath of the Lord arose against his people, until there was no remedy.
Till that, he says no remedy. There's no remedy in the vineyard right now. I'll get back to it later, but right now it's no remedy, so what'd he do? Go ahead.
Therefore he brought upon them the king of the Chaldeans, who slew their young men with the sword in the houses of their sanctuary, and had no compassion upon young men or maiden, old man or him that stoopeth for age. He gave them all into his hands. He
gave them all into his hands. Look, nobody can have dominion over you and kill you unless God puts you in their hand.
Right.
That's why it's lunacy for Israel to be trying to blame the white man and blame some people when God is the one to. It's like, who you going to blame in this verse? Who you going to blame? Verse 17 said, therefore he, which is the Lord, brought upon them the king of the Chaldeans, talking about Nebuchadnezzar, who slew their young men. Who you going to be cursing Nebuchadnezzar out? Oh, you bogus Nebuchadnezzar. Nah, it said he brought them on you, right?
The Lord.
The Lord did it. Who slew their young men with the sword in the house of their sanctuary, and had no compassion upon young man or maiden, old man, or him that stooped for age. He gave them all into sin. God did it. And it's for the vineyard going sour. Now, go to Matthew 21. Back to Matthew 21. Matthew 21. And we're going to read this again because we just read through it before, but we're going to read it again. And it's going to sound just like 2 Chronicles 36, what we just read. 21 and 35. Okay, go ahead.
And the husbandman took his servants and beat one and killed another and stoned another. And again he sent other servants more than the first, and they did unto them likewise.
See, they did. That's what the Lord said. He was sending beat times because he had compassion on his people and on his dwelling place, and they mocked the messengers of God. This haven't changed. Lord trying to fix this vineyard, and the vineyard refused to be fixed. That's why he said it wasn't no remedy. Go ahead.
37. But last of all, he sent unto them his son, saying, they will reverence my son. But when the husbandmen saw the son, they said among themselves, this is the heir. Come, let us kill him, and let us seize on his inheritance. And they caught him and cast him out of the vineyard and slew him. See, we just read it again. When he finally got to Jesus, the son, they kicked him out of the vineyard and slew him. Now, let's look at that. Keep your finger in Matthew. We're going to come back. Go to John 19. We're going to come back to Matthew. Put your marker there. But we're going to go to John 19 right quick. John 19, and we're going to pick it up at verse 18. John 19 and verse 18. See, everything got polluted now. Even the son was not accepted in his own vineyard. Isn't that something? Now you understand what it means when Jesus said he came unto his own. It said he came unto his own, and his own received him not. And more importantly, he's the owner of the vineyard. If you're the son, you still own it, right? He's the owner of the vineyard, and you're not going to listen to him? That shows you the state of the vineyard, brothers and sisters.
John 19. And we think we can deal with some organized religion. I tried. When I went looking for the Lord, where else was I going to go? I didn't know nothing else. I went straight to the church my grandparents went to. Baptist church on the south side of Chicago. I didn't know that the Vineyard was polluted and I wasn't going to get nothing out of there. Because they going with the status quo. I really wanted to know. Right. I didn't go there playing. I wanted us to look. I never found out about God. But I was still up in the Vineyard. They was going with the status quo, had their little program. People fornicating all in the church. The preacher know it, ain't saying nothing. So I said to myself, I said, wait, oh, this ain't bad. I can keep doing the stuff I've been doing, huh? And then I had to slap myself, boy, quit playing with yourself. I'm like, well, ain't no need me standing. So I went back out the street. But now, John 19 and verse 18. Go ahead.
Where they crucified him and 2 others with him. And on either side one, and Jesus in the midst.
Okay, and this when Jesus got crucified with 2 thieves. So that shows you crucifixion wasn't synonymous with Jesus. It was synonymous with how the Romans killed people. It ain't something only Jesus went through. They crucified people daily. That's why it was 2. They had 2 to go with him that same day. 2 thieves. And Jesus was in the midst, 19.
And Pilate wrote a title and put it on the cross. And the writing was, Jesus of Nazareth, the King of the Jews.
And he really is the King of the Jews. People don't even understand this. Pilate wrote it on his cross when he got crucified. People want to separate Jesus from the Jews, but no, he's the King of the Jews. That's his vineyard. And he going to fix it in the end. Verse 20.
This title then read many of the Jews.
Now, many of the Jews read it, and it wasn't just written in Hebrew. Go ahead.
For the place where Jesus was crucified was nigh to the city. And it was written in Hebrew and Greek and Latin.
Oh, it was written in Hebrew, Greek, and Latin. The Lord just wants you to get the message. And it say the place, notice where the place is, where he was crucified was not to the city. In other words, this is symbolic for a reason. Because we read they cast him out of the vineyard and slew him, right? That means it's on the outside. Even though it was not, it was on the outside because they had to cast him out of the vineyard, which in this case is Jerusalem. But now, we're going to go back to Matthew 23. Matthew 23 this time. So that's for a reason, because now, if you're looking for the Lord, he had to leave the vineyard. He left the vineyard by force. They cast him out. So if you're looking for him, hey, he outside of the vineyard, brothers and sisters. He's not going to be in the mainstream church and religion because they the ones that killed him. And they say, well, no, we wouldn't have killed Jesus. Well, we're going to put you to the test because we're going to say the same thing Jesus would say to you, and you're going to kill us. So that shows you would have killed Jesus. If you don't like us, you don't like Jesus, because we ain't saying nothing different. We reading his love song about the vineyard. But now, Matthew 23 and 29. Go ahead.
Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites.
See, Jesus was on them. He called it like it was. He said, whoa, y'all in trouble. Woe unto you. I'm talking about, this ain't the dope peddlers and the drug users and the prostitutes. He talking about the leaders in the church. Many pastors have destroyed his vineyard. That is the problem. I say all the time, because the Lord going to get them in the end. And Shakespeare had a saying, first thing need to do, first thing, kill all the lawyers. I said he was pretty close. He should have just said preachers. Because the preachers is the real problem. They worse than lawyers. I know lawyers know how to milk you. But the preachers really know how to milk you. The lawyers must have learned from them. Jesus saying, woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites. That's what he said. He called them hypocrites. Go ahead.
Because you build the tombs of the prophets and garnish the scepters of the righteous.
He said, look, you act like you like the righteous people in the old days who got killed. you keep their tombs clean and stuff. You build the tombs of the prophets and garnish the sepulchres of the righteous. Oh, you dress it up like you really like them, but you really don't like them. Verse 30.
And say, if we had been in the days of our fathers, we would not have been partakers with them in the blood of the prophets.
See, they fixing up Jeremiah tomb and all the other righteous people tombs who done suffered for the word of God, and they say, we wouldn't have did like our fathers did back then. No, you a lie because you doing it now. Right. You still trying to run the vineyard your way. And God, you ain't got to worry about them back then. God got some people now that's going to tell you the right way. So the proof going to be in the pudding on how you treat them, right? Go ahead, verse 31.
Wherefore ye be witnesses unto yourselves, that ye are the children of them which killed the prophets.
See, you acknowledge you the children of them that killed the prophets, and what you going to do then? Go ahead.
Fill ye up then the measure of your fathers.
He said, now you going to make up the rest that your fathers didn't do. To show you would have been against the prophets, you're going to be against servants of God in your time. Go ahead.
Ye serpents, ye generation of vipers, how can ye escape the damnation of hell?
Well, Jesus was hitting them hard, wasn't he? You see, you know they wanted him dead. Go ahead.
Wherefore, behold, I send unto you prophets and wise men
and scribes. He said, it ain't over yet. It ain't over yet. I'm going to give you a chance. It's not over yet. Yeah, your fathers killed the prophets. And we know they killed the son, right? He wasn't dead while he was talking right here, but we know, we just read where he got crucified between two thieves, right? And they cast him out of the city and crucified him. That's where he got crucified at, not to the city. So we know that, but now we're looking toward the future. The story still goes on in the vineyard. He said, look, you lying saying you wouldn't have did it in the old days, but wherefore, verse 34, wherefore, behold, I send unto you, I'm going to send you some more prophets and wise men and scribes. And what you going to do to them?
And some of them ye shall kill and crucify. And some of them shall ye scourge in your synagogues and persecute them from city to city.
Oh, you're going to continue the same persecution on the ones trying to fix the vineyard and produce righteous fruits in the vineyard. Just tell people what the Lord says so you can be a servant of God. They don't want to do that. And they don't want nobody else to come along and do that. Go ahead.
That upon you may come all the righteous blood shed upon the earth, from the blood of righteous Abel unto the blood of Zacharias, the son of Barachias, whom ye slew between the temple and the altar.
See, everybody got opportunity to enter into this same persecution in the vineyard. So even down to our day, they going to enter into it because people that come and tell them the truth in the vineyard, they want to get rid of. And they're going to do some harm to them, just like they've been doing, beating one, stone another, kill another, killed the son sending more and more servants. They still doing the same thing in the vineyard. It has not changed. It won't change until the Lord come and fulfill what was said at the end of that parable and destroy these miserable husbandmen and give it out to some real pastors. Like he said, he got some pastors according to his own heart, which going to feed the people with knowledge and understanding. But now, he said, you're going to enter into this. Go ahead.
36. Verily I say unto you, all these things shall come upon this generation.
Go ahead.
O Jerusalem, Jerusalem, thou that killest the prophets.
Oh, you see what Jerusalem do? Killeth the prophets. That's why the vineyard is sour, brothers and sisters. They don't want to hear the truth. People don't never want to hear the truth. We tell people out of the Bible, don't eat swine. I mean, you can't endure a little simple thing like changing your diet. You see, you sick with high blood pressure and having strokes and all kind of stuff. Everything wrong, and it's in the Bible. Don't eat swine is unclean unto you. People don't even want to do that. Nope. Because they want to do what they want to do in the vineyard. But God always going to have somebody come and tell you, and whether you like it or not. Go ahead. O Jerusalem, Jerusalem, thou that killest the prophets. That's what they've been doing. Go ahead.
And stone is them which are sent unto thee.
And stone is the one that the Lord sent. This is the order of the day in the vineyard, brothers and sisters. Go ahead.
How often would I have gathered the children together, even as a hen gathered her chickens under her wings, and ye would not?
Jesus said, look, I would have been gathered you and put you together and fixed this vineyard up perfect, like I said up in the beginning, until you produce wild grapes, but you still won't listen. I keep sending them, you won't listen. So now I tell you what's left. Go ahead.
Behold, your house is left unto you desolate.
He said, behold, your house is left unto you desolate. See, this is when he got fed up with Israel finally. That's why he had the Romans tear it down in 70 AD, and it ain't been the same since. Israel ain't been control of nothing since then. Go ahead.
For I say unto you, ye shall not see me henceforth, till ye shall say, blessed is he that cometh in the name of the Lord.
He said, it's done with now. When I get through with it, it's done with until the end. It ain't over permanently, because remember, he going to fix this vineyard in the end. Because the Lord don't change. So he going to fix this love story. Is going to have a good ending about the vineyard. Even though we saw it done went way south now. It done went sour grapes. Bad husbandmen. I mean, the vineyard jacked up. Animals coming there destroying the vineyard. Took away the hedge. Oh, it's messed up now, right? But it's still hope, because he said, for I say unto you, you should not see me henceforth till you recognize, till you say, blessed is he that cometh in the name of the Lord. See, the Lord going to finish it the right way. But now go to Revelation 17. Revelation 17. In the meantime, we're going to see where we at now. Because since the vineyard of the Lord is messed up, the whole world is messed up. The Bible says Satan have deceived the whole world. But it's because the Lord's vineyard went sour. And the Gentiles have tried to take it up and run with it, but they can't do it. They can't do it. That's why in the end, we know, they trying to pick a new pope starting Tuesday, and they might end up picking the one we've been waiting on. That's going to end up over in Jerusalem, really trying to front like he runs something, and that's going to be his last move. Because the Lord going to deal with it. That's what Revelation 11 tells you. The holy city, they're going to build a temple, and the holy city is going to be given to the Gentiles. And the holy city shall they trod underfoot 40 and 2 months. See, that's going to be the last trodden. But again, that's because the Lord took away the hedge thereof, didn't he? He said he took away the hedge, took away all the protection, and say, look, I'm gonna let everybody have at you now, because you didn't want to produce right. But now, Revelation 17. Revelation 17. So now once Israel, the Lord got fed up with Israel, it wasn't nothing for the Gentiles to do but pick it up and mess it up worse. They couldn't do it right. 17 and 1, because the fruits in the vineyard, since the Lord used Israel, it got to come from Israel. Israel is the one that's ultimately going to produce the good wine. Let's see what happened here. 17 and 1. Go ahead.
And there came one of the 7 angels which had the 7 vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, come hither. I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters.
Oh, this is a great whore, because God's wife is a woman, Israel. But now, since Israel got cast away out of God's sight, the vineyard got trodden down. Now you had another woman come up, and she's situated at Rome, and she ruling over she's sitting on many waters. And what's done happened? What this woman had done? He called her a great whore. Verse 2.
With whom the kings of the earth had committed fornication.
That's why he called her a great whore, because he said the kings of the earth been sleeping with this whore. In other words, the kings didn't let this whore infect their people with these bad grapes, with this bad fruit. Just like Israel produced bad grapes and the husbandmen did not want to change, Rome couldn't do no better, brothers and sisters. They didn't have a chance, to be honest with you. So with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and therefore what?
And the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication.
Oh, see, this is the fornication. This is what she produced in the vineyard. See, that's what you have a vineyard for, to ultimately produce some wine. Mm-hmm. The grapes get made into wine, right? Mm-hmm. They even trample the grapes, and it turns into wine. That's why he had a wine press in the vineyard, right?
Right.
So you can make some good wine out of it. But we know we're not talking about a literal vineyard with literal wine. We are talking about the land of Israel where the Lord was raising up righteous men of God, men and women of God, to serve him and bring forth some good fruits that way. But we saw it produce wild grapes. We saw the Lord say, I'm leaving your house desolate until a set time. So now the Gentiles, the wine they produced couldn't be no better. It didn't change over and the Lord all of a sudden say, you know, my own rejected me, so now I'm going to the Gentiles and I'm leaving my own behind. Paul and them said we turn to the Gentiles, but he still knew the significance of Israel, that Israel was still the vineyard of the Lord. So verse 2 said, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. So this is not no good fruit, is it? It's not no good fruit of the vine. Because it has got people drunk. So it's the same story. It's even worse than what Israel produced. But it's because Israel didn't produce the right grapes in the first place that this opened the door for all this. Go ahead, verse 3.
So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness. And I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns.
Go ahead.
And a woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color.
See, this is why these cardinals is over there. You see them wearing most of the time. If they don't have white on, they got purple and scarlet on. Mm-hmm. The ones that's in Rome, because that's their colors. Because that is the woman, the woman that we're talking about right here in Revelation 17 is the Roman church that says she is God's church now. He talking about her. So he carried me away in the spirit into a wilderness. I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast. And what's on her names? Go ahead.
And decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand, full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication.
See, she got on purple and scarlet and decked with gold. She got all kind of money and pearls and a golden cup. It's a nice looking cup. See, it looked good from the outside, brothers and sisters. But on the inside, it's filthy. And what you drinking out of that cup is filth. It's not good wine. It's why the whole world is drunk off of religion. Don't have a clue about God. That's why, like, a good contrast to show you the difference is God got in the Bible the Passover and the Feast of Unleavened Bread, and they gearing up. That's why they want to have a new pope installed for what they call Holy Week, which is Palm Sunday through Good Friday up until Easter Sunday. That's their Holy Week. But that same week, we're going to be celebrating not that. We're going to be celebrating what the Bible said, the Passover and the Feast of Unleavened Bread. It is Holy Week, but what they call it is unholy. That's because, see, and it looked good, though, from the outside. That's why it got a golden cup. Verse 4 said, and the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet, decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand, full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. So it have not gotten better because of the vineyard. It has gotten worse, hasn't it? Mm-hmm. This is real bad because the whole world is infected now with bad doctrine. Didn't produce the right fruits in the vineyard, and that messed everything up. Go ahead.
Verse 5. And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery Babylon, the Great, Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth.
Oh, Mystery Babylon the Great, because that's what started the Gentile dynasty, Babylon. In Daniel the 2nd chapter, Daniel the 7th chapter show you that. And Rome is the last vestige of it. That's why once Rome is over with, it's over. Then the Lord going to run it. That's when Jesus come back. He going to put an end to this wickedness in the vineyard. But we got nothing but wickedness. That's why the world is full of wickedness. Look, if the church was straight, the world would be straight. The church is not straight. So therefore, the world is going to hell in a handbasket. He said he called the Mystery Babylon the Great the mother of harlots, and she don't mix no bones by calling herself the mother church. Get mad. I'm talking about a few years ago, the Pope got mad because some priests referred to other churches as sister churches. And the Pope said, no, don't do that. They not sister churches. We the mother. That's why they call themselves the mother church. And they right, because all of these institutional churches nowadays, they ultimately, one way or another, came out of Rome. They came. That's like I mentioned Protestantism from Martin Luther, came out of Rome. He was a Catholic priest. Never thought of himself any other way either. So they right. They are the mother church, but that's not a good title according to this. The mother of harlots. That means if some children have come forth. And the abominations of her. See, people say, well, you know, you kind of talking about people. It might be some Catholics watching. Say, you kind of talking about our religion. Look, the Lord talking about you. This got to apply to somebody. Where is it at? Where is this mother of harlots and the abominations of the earth? Where is it? In Rome. Verse 6.
And I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints and with the blood of the martyrs of Jesus.
Oh, you know they don't like it when you talk about them, so eventually they end up killing people, right?
Right.
So this woman is drunken with the blood of the saints and with the blood of the martyrs of Jesus. See, preachers making us think it's all fine and dandy in the world, in the vineyard, but it is polluted in the vineyard. The whole world is backwards. Don't have a clue about God. All starting with that vineyard that produced those wild grapes. He said he wasn't going to keep it, and because he didn't keep it, now the Gentiles and picked it up and said, look, we the priests, we the cardinals. And they can't even have a continuing priesthood. How you going to go 2 weeks without having a high priest? They ain't even learned that from the Levites. But go ahead.
And when I saw her, I wondered with great admonition.
You see, he said, this woman got a lot of power. He was admiring and said, wow, this is good. Just like people admire this institution over in Rome because of the power that it got, but it ain't going to last. Go to, we'll keep your finger in Revelation. We're going to come right back. Let's go to 1 Corinthians 10. We're going to come back to Revelation 18. 1 Corinthians 10. Keep your mark in Revelation, though. Because again, I just want to make it clear that once Israel, the vineyard of the Lord, got polluted and got destroyed, see, a lot of people go that far with it, and some of these denominations now, they say, well, yeah, see, Israel, they rejected them, so then that's when the Lord kind of just gave it into our hand, the Gentile. Even you got some Israelites think they Gentiles, and they be saying, he gave it to us. No, you the ones he took it from, dummy. And he didn't give it to nobody else, though. It's just not being done. It's just not being done. The whole world is polluted now. So I'm going to show you he couldn't have gave it to the Gentiles because God said, Israel only have I known. And 1 Corinthians 10 and verse 20, he tell you the problem with the Gentiles. Verse 20, go ahead.
But I say that the things which the Gentiles sacrifice, they sacrifice to devils and not to God. And I would not that ye should have fellowship with devils.
See, that's what the Gentiles, that's all they knew. They couldn't do no better. The only way the Gentiles cannot sacrifice to devils and can honor God the right way is through the Israel, the vineyard of the Lord. That's the only way. Now, if the vineyard got messed up, the Gentiles in trouble, aren't they? They are in trouble because this is what they do naturally. Right. This is what they do naturally. He said, I say that the Gentiles, the things which the Gentiles sacrifice, they sacrifice to devils and not to God. See, that's what's going on over there in Rome. That's why all the rituals that they got, all the so-called holidays that they got, it don't have nothing to do with the Lord. It ain't in this Bible. Don't have nothing to do with the Lord. Got a feast to Mary. They made up a feast to Mary, honoring Mary and honoring her mother. You know, most people don't know even the day, the thing they call the Immaculate Conception, think that applies to Jesus' birth. No, they're not even saying that's Jesus' birth. They saying that's Mary's birth because they want to worship Mary. Say, yeah, you know, you got to pray to the Mother of God because she will use her maternal instincts on them. If she can use them from the grave, she's pretty good because Mary is dead. But anyway, he said, look, the Gentiles sacrifice unto devils, not to God. I would not that ye should have fellowship with devils. See, but it all started with Israel. Israel went south and went the wrong way. The Gentiles didn't have a prayer. You can't even blame the Gentiles. They didn't have a prayer, not even a Hail Mary. Go ahead, verse 21.
You cannot drink the cup of the Lord and the cup of devils.
See, you can't do both. You can't drink the cup of the Lord and the cup of devil. You got to do one or the other. You can't have a Christian Sabbath day and a Jewish Sabbath day. That's what Rome gave you. That's what they came out of that cup, that bad wine. See, once the Lord's Vineyard went sour, it wasn't no chance for the Gentiles. So they gave you a cup with some polluted wine in it, worse than anything. You got a new Sabbath day come out of that cup called Sunday. But the Lord say the seventh day is his Sabbath day all over the Bible. All the apostles kept keeping the seventh day. You got Paul keeping the Sabbath day in the Bible. None of them thought it changed. So, and you can't have both because you can't drink the cup of the Lord and the cup of devils. So which one you drinking? People think you can have both. They say, well, that's for the Christians, that's for the Jews. That's telling me I can have both, right? Or I could pick one. Now, one is the Lord's and one is Satan's. Right. Now, you pick one. The Bible lets you know which one is the Lord's. You cannot drink the cup of the Lord and the cup of devils. What else?
You cannot be partakers of the Lord's table and of the table of devils.
See, and that's what the Gentiles gave you. They didn't put Satan's stuff on the table wholesale from the church standpoint. Back to Revelation 18 this time. Revelation 18. So a lot came out of this vineyard being polluted. Now the whole world is polluted, brothers and sisters, drinking wine out this cup. And the whole world is drunk. You can't hardly tell people nothing out of the Bible in this world because they drunk. You tell them it's illegal for two men to get together and sleep together. Oh, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with me? They get mad. You ain't got to say nothing. Just quote some scripture. Even, I did a funeral one time. Me and Nehemiah, we was ignorant. We didn't know it was mostly all sodomites up in there. We was dumb. You know, we was a little slow. Nehemiah was reading. And we looked around. They started getting up talking. We was like, wait a minute. Some of them dressed real nice, looking better than a woman. So manicured and stuff. I was like. But boy, when we open up the Bible, we just open up the Bible. They were scattering. Because they know that Bible don't agree with their lifestyle. We just open it up. Then they was back there. Dietrich told me they was back there mocking. I couldn't hear them in the back. They was back there mocking, hugging up, talking about, oh, we going to go to hell for this? Hell yeah. You keep it up. But you can't even read nothing out the Bible. Get mad. I wasn't there to talk about them. I didn't even know they was there till got to looking, but I had a lesson prepared about the dead. But now, Revelation 18, and pick it up at verse 1. That just show you the state of the union, the state of the world. It is totally polluted, brother. So you can't even read the Bible. Right. People get mad. And this is what, you're going to have a president swear in on the Bible, but then you can't believe what's inside of it. That's a joke. 18:1. Go ahead.
After these things, I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory.
Uh-huh.
Verse 2. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the Great is fallen, is fallen, and is become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird.
See, eventually it's going to have to fall. That's the only way that the Lord going to fix this, brothers and sisters. He got to scrap the whole system. The whole system is wrong. You can't do this from the inside out and fix it and make it better. No, you got to scrap the whole system. That's why we ain't part of no system denomination. Go ahead.
Verse 3. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication.
See, all nations drunk. You can't even tell them what's in the Bible no more. All nations and drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. Once Israel, the vineyard of the Lord, went sour, then it wasn't nothing but for Rome to give you some bad wine, because God said, Israel only have I known. They couldn't give you nothing good. Go ahead.
And the kings of the earth had committed fornication with her. And the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies.
See, people making money. You get the Christmas tree man, he make a lot of money at Christmas time for some drunkenness that then came out of that cup. Some abomination. You get all these, make these idols, these carpenters or whatever they are that make these idols, they making all kind of money. Then you got all the other holidays, they making money off of people. Yeah, so it said the merchants of the earth have waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. Go ahead.
And I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people.
See, in the meantime, before the Lord scrap it, we got to come out of her. Even though you in the world, you ain't got to be partaking with the sin that they have infected the world with. You can still get to the Lord. That's the good thing about all of this. The Lord is merciful. You can still find him in this world. He just ain't in this mainstream. You got to come out the mainstream. He's not in the vineyard. Like I know some brothers, they tried to keep, keep going to, they was going to a church and they got the truth. They said, yeah, I'm going to take it up in the church. Yeah, you may try, but you going to get tossed out. And that's how it always going to end up. You ain't going to be able to fix that from the inside. They going to kick you out once they see what you up to. They going to get rid of you. You ain't going to fix it from the inside. So so where is the Lord? They kicked the Lord out the city. They kicked the Lord on the outside of the city, cast him out and killed him, didn't he? So if you're going to go to the Lord, you're going to come out of this and go where he is. He on the lonely island somewhere. That's where he at. So you're going to be like all by yourself. Even though it's a few of us in here, relatively speaking, we all by ourselves, aren't we? And in the whole world, all the people serving God the right way in the world is still minimum. So verse 4 said what?
And I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people.
Come out of her, my people. Go ahead.
That ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues.
See, you got to come out of her, though. Don't partake in the status quo that's going on in the vineyard. Go to verse 24 and go ahead.
And in her was found the blood of prophets and of the saints and of all that were slain upon the earth.
See, in her, because now she done took over now. She done took over the vineyard from Israel, because the Lord stripped Israel of it. Now she done took it over, Rome has, and said, look, we the priests. So everything that the world done got then came from her. But now go to back to 2 Corinthians 6. 2 Corinthians 6. And he's going to tell you the same thing right here. 2 Corinthians 6. 2 Corinthians 6. And we're going to pick it up at verse 17. We're going to read 17 and 18. 2 Corinthians 6, 17, and then 18. Okay, go ahead.
Wherefore come out from among them, and be ye separate, saith the Lord, and touch not the unclean thing.
See, this means what it say, but people want to use this, but they don't understand that it's talking about the world as a whole. The vineyard is polluted. Jesus got kicked out the vineyard. All the servants that come to the husbandman, the religious leaders, trying to correct things, they got persecuted, got killed, beaten, stoned, etc. So now, he said, At verse 17, come out from among them and be ye separate, said the Lord. Touch not the unclean thing, and I will receive you. Go ahead.
And will be a father unto you, and ye shall be my sons and daughters, said the Lord Almighty.
See, he gonna be a. See, you can still get to the Lord in this pollution. You just got to know where he at. He ain't in the mainstream. He ain't in the system of the vineyard. Go to Hebrews 13. Let's make sure we know where the Lord was. Even where Jesus ended up when he got killed, he was not in the vineyard. See, that's symbolic of letting you know this. 13 and verse 9. Hebrews 13 and 9. Okay, go ahead.
Be not carried about with divers and strange doctrines.
See, you got plenty of them in the world, but go ahead.
For it is a good thing that the heart be established with grace, and not with meats, which have not profited them that have been occupied therein.
Go ahead.
We have an altar whereof they have no right to eat, save serve the tabernacle. For the bodies of those beasts whose blood is brought into the sanctuary by the high priest for sin are burned without the camp.
See, even when they made sacrifices, the bodies of the animals that they killed, they took out and they burned. They burned them outside the camp. See, and that's where the Lord is at, brothers. So that's the only way you're going to find him, because the vineyard has been messed up. Until everything as a whole is fixed, the vineyard is polluted. So he said those beasts were burned without the camp. What does that mean? Verse 12.
Wherefore Jesus also, that he might sanctify the people with his own blood, suffered without the gate.
Oh, Jesus himself suffered without the gate. That means on the outside, brothers and sisters. That's why it's specified in the parable Jesus gave that they kicked him out of the vineyard and slew him. They didn't slay him in the vineyard. They kicked him out of the vineyard. And Jesus was outside all of his life spiritually. He was not accepted by the status quo religious leaders. That's why they end up killing him. He was outside all the time. He was like a cult leader. That's why it ain't no surprise they think we in a cult. Yeah, because they thought Jesus was a cult leader. We in a cult. If you really following him. So it said, wherefore Jesus also, that he might sanctify. He trying to sanctify us. Set us apart from everybody else. Get you to come out from among them. With his own blood, he suffered without the gate. That means on the outside. Verse 13. Where we got to go then?
Let us go forth, therefore, unto him without the camp, bearing his reproach.
So let us go forth, therefore, unto him. If we going to go to Jesus, he ain't in the middle, in the midst of this stuff, is he?
Nope.
He said, let us go forth, therefore, unto him without the camp. On the outside. Everybody's going to be looking at you crazy, because you outside of the norm or the status quo, but you doing what's in the Bible. That's what Jesus is. Therefore, let us go forth unto him without the camp, bearing his reproach. That means people going to dislike you. You're going to be reproached. You're going to be looked on as doing something wrong for trying to do what's in the word. Because you know that it's not all fine and okay within the system of things, within the vineyard. Now let's go further. Go to Exodus 31.
Should read 13?
Oh, read 14. I'm sorry. 14.
For here have we no continuing city, but we seek one to come.
See, this ain't it right now. It's messed up, but we waiting on one to come. So right now we on the outside of things. Now, Exodus 33. Moses gave us an example a long time ago. This shows you how the Lord will do when things get polluted. He can't stay on the inside of the camp. 33 and 1. Exodus 33 and verse 1. Okay, go ahead.
And the Lord said unto Moses, depart and go up hence, thou and the people which thou hast brought up out of the land of Egypt, unto the land which I swear unto Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob, saying, unto thy seed will I give it.
See, that's when this love story started. This is when the Lord set his vineyard up. Remember, it all started with the Lord planting this vineyard, but it went south. They didn't produce right. Everything got messed up. The Lord said, look, I'm going to break down the hedge and tear this thing up. And then the Gentiles took over and it didn't get no better. So, but this is where it all began. And they was messing up back here. The Lord told Moses, look, y'all going up there because he upset now. Verse 2.
And I will send an angel before thee, and I will drive out the Canaanites, and the Amorites, and the Hittites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites.
See, just like he said. He said, I'm going to do it. See, this is when they was in the wilderness on their way. He told Moses, you go on up, take the people that you brought out of Egypt unto the land which I swear. He swore about this land. That's how important it is. To Abraham, to Isaac, and Jacob. Jacob's name got changed to Israel. And he swore he would give it to them, and they seed will he give it. But he said he not going at this time because he upset. He said, I'm going to send an angel. And he going to drive out the people in the land, the Canaanites and the Amorites and so forth. Go ahead, verse 3.
Unto a land flowing with milk and honey.
A land flowing with milk and honey. Go ahead.
And I will not go up in the midst of thee, for thou art a stiff-necked people, lest I consume thee in the way.
See, but the Lord is upset already. He already pulling back from the people. He said, because they stiff-necked, right? Go ahead.
And when the people heard this evil tidings, they mourned, and no man did put on his ornament.
Yeah, the Lord told them to take it off. This after they had made the golden calf. But go ahead.
And the Lord said unto Moses, say unto the children of Israel, ye are a stiff-necked people. I will come up into the midst of thee in a moment and consume thee. Therefore now put off thy ornaments from thee, that I may know what to do unto thee.
He said, just take it off till I figure out what I'm going to do with you. They made the Lord so upset. He said, I got to figure this out. In the meantime, what I need you to do, take them jewelry, take all that stuff off, because I'm going to hurt somebody up in here. Go ahead.
And the children of Israel stripped themselves of their ornaments by the Mount Horeb.
See, and they stripped that stuff. So there wasn't nothing wrong with the jewelry in and of itself till them dummies made a golden calf.
Right.
Ain't going to say the calf brought you out of Egypt. You just made it. But go ahead.
And Moses took the tabernacle and pitched it without the camp.
Oh, but then Moses, the Lord so upset, the Lord had Moses, move me out here, Moses. Take me out so I can't deal with them people. I'm going to be the killer. So Moses, see, the Lord had a tent in the midst of the camp with the people. But when the vineyard got polluted, the Lord told Moses took the tabernacle and pitched it without the camp. Where?
Afar off from the camp.
Afar off from the camp. Go ahead.
And called it the tabernacle of the congregation.
Go ahead.
And it came to pass that everyone which sought the Lord went out unto the tabernacle of the congregation, which was without the camp.
Oh, you had to go without the camp. Because it's polluted in the camp, right? Didn't Jesus get killed out the camp? It said, go forth unto him out the camp, didn't it? That's where he at, brothers and sisters. Now, let's go to John 17. See, we ain't going to be able to lead the world physically, but we can lead the world spiritually. We can come out of the world spiritually by being obedient to what's in the Bible, and don't worry that the rest of your people around you not doing it. Because they still in the camp. They still following the wicked guidelines of the vineyard. John 17, and we're going to pick it up at verse 6. John 17 and 6, okay. Go ahead and read it.
I have manifested thy name unto the men which thou gavest me out of the world. Thine they were, and thou gavest them me, and they have kept thy word. Now they have known that all things whatsoever thou hast given me are of thee.
Now Jesus praying to the Father on behalf of the disciples, and that goes down to us because we following them. He going to let you know again, you separated from the vineyard as a whole. You outside the camp. Verse 8.
For I have given unto them the words which thou gavest me, and they have received them, and have known surely that I came out from thee, and they have believed that thou didst send me.
Go ahead.
I pray for them. I pray not for the world.
Wait a minute. Now, again, the vineyard now, since the vineyard messed up, the whole world is polluted, brothers and sisters. We saw how the woman that sits on 7 hills, the mother of harlots, she done fed the world with this cup, with this pollutions out of this cup. So the whole world is deceived, like it said in Revelation 12. He said, Jesus said, verse 9, I pray for them, talking about his followers who coming outside the camp to be with him. I pray for them. I pray not for the world. Pay attention to that, because, you know, people try to act like it's a world. You know, we're going to have a world prayer day. We're just going to pray for the whole world. Let's just have a prayer. I don't think so. Jesus wasn't with that, was he? He said, I pray for them. I pray not for the world, because the world is polluted as a whole, brothers and sisters. Go ahead.
But for them which thou hast given me, for they are thine.
See, he said, I'm praying for the ones you gave me. Now skip to 14 and go ahead.
I have given them thy word, and the world has hated them.
That's why he ain't praying for the world, because the world hates you when you get the word of God. You are contrary to the world. Right. You have to leave the world, right, spiritually speaking. You can't leave the world physically. Don't try that. Because some people might think that and they commit suicide. Don't be stupid. You have to leave the world spiritually. I have given them thy word, and the world hath hated them. Go ahead.
Because they are not of the world.
They are not of the world. Go ahead.
Even as I am not of the world.
Go ahead.
I pray not that thou shouldest take them out of the world.
They ain't going to take you out of the world physically, but you can lead the world spiritually by not partaking in the rules that they giving you in the vineyard. The rules that's contrary to God. Go ahead.
But thou shouldest keep them from the evil.
Go ahead.
They are not of the world, even as I am not of the world. Sanctify them through thy truth. Thy word is truth.
See, you sanctify, you set apart through the word of God. That's the truth. Now, go to Psalm 80. We're almost done. Psalm 80. And we're going to kind of rehash it one more time. And we're going to see that even though this love story, love song about the vineyard, it went sour, it's going to be real sweet in the end. Psalm 80. That's the good news. Because the Lord don't change, and he can finish what he started. Psalm 80 and verse 1. Go ahead.
Give ear, O shepherd of Israel, thou that leadest Joseph like a flock, thou that dwellest between the cherubim, shine forth.
See, he asking the Lord, come on, do it, Lord. Come on, go ahead.
Before Ephraim, Benjamin, and Manasseh, stir up thy strength, and come and save us. Turn us again, O God, and cause thy face to shine, and we shall be saved.
See, he need to turn us back to him, because the vineyard that he established in the beginning got polluted. The husbandmen messed it up. The pastors destroyed the vineyard, and he let it be destroyed. And then the Romans took over things, and everything is jacked up now. Everything is polluted. Go ahead.
Verse 8.
Yeah, skip down to verse 8.
Thou hast brought a vine out of Egypt. Thou hast cast out the heathen and planted it.
See, that's where it started at. He brought a vine out of Egypt. See, the vine is Israel. You brought a vine out of Egypt, then he cast out the heathen. That's the Amorites and Canaanites and all of them, and he planted that vine. That's how we got the vineyard started. He planted Israel in the promised land. He looked for righteousness. They started doing wickedness. God's own chosen people didn't want to follow him, and he destroyed us as a people. And now the Gentiles thinking they can do what they want to do it their way. They ain't learned from our example. And he getting ready to finish them off and get back to this vine that he started. He said, you brought a vine out of Egypt, and you cast out the heathen and planted it, verse 9.
Thou prepared a room before it, and did it cause it to take deep root.
Deep root, go ahead.
And it filled the land.
And it filled the land, go ahead.
The hills were covered with the shadow of it, and the boughs thereof were like the goodly cedars.
Go ahead.
She sent out her boughs through the sea, and her branches unto the river.
See, Israel was a glorious kingdom at one time. Had great King David and Solomon, glorious kingdom. Other nations recognized this great holy nation, and they came and paid tribute to them. Go ahead.
Why hast thou then broken down the hedges?
See, but in the end, God broke down the hedges. He said, why you do it, God? Go ahead.
So that all they which passed by the way do pluck her.
Oh, we know why he did it, though, because it produced wild grapes in the end. Go ahead.
The boar out of the wood doth waste it.
Everybody take advantage of God's people, and they trod down the Holy Land now. Go ahead.
And the wild beasts of the field doth devour it.
See, they took control. Now it's like we don't even have a land. And people are arguing and fighting over the land that God gave his people. Go ahead.
Return, we beseech thee, O God of hosts. Look down from heaven and behold and visit this vine.
See, but he actually, come on back, Lord. Visit this vine, and he going to do that. Go ahead.
And the vineyard which was by thy right hand have planted, and the branch that thou madest strong for thyself.
He said, visit this vine and the vineyard which thy right hand have planted. He got to fix it now. And the branch that thou madest strong for thyself, because it's messed up now. What is it?
It is burned with fire. It is cut down. They perish at the rebuke of thy countenance.
Okay, but now he gonna fix it. Go to Revelation 19. Let's show you how he gonna fix it. Revelation 19. Revelation 19. And we just gonna read a couple of verses. We ain't gonna read all this, talking about Jesus coming back. Because when he come back, he coming to fix this vineyard. Fix Israel. He got to knock the whole world off to do it. He got to show them. He got to show them how he operate in the vineyard. Like it said in the parable, he going to come and miserably destroy those husbandmen and let it out to some righteous ones. 19 and 11. Go ahead.
And I saw heaven open, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True, and in righteousness he doth judge and make war.
See, that's what Jesus is coming to do. In righteousness, though, he coming to judge and make war. And when it's all said and done, he going to do what? Verse 15.
And out of his mouth goeth a sharp sword, that with it he should smite the nations.
See, he got to smite all the nations in the world, brothers and sisters, to fix this. You can't fix this from the inside out. He got to smite them down to the ground. Go ahead.
And he shall rule them with a rod of iron.
And what else?
And he treaded the winepress of the fierceness and wrath of Almighty God.
And he treaded the winepress of the fierceness and wrath of Almighty God. That's what you do in the vineyard. He going to show them. He know how to fix the vineyard. Go to Isaiah 26 now. Show you this is it right here. He was telling you right here. Way back in the old days. He going to tread the winepress, brothers and sisters. Isaiah 26, and we got one verse here, and we're going to go right into the 27th chapter. Isaiah 26 and one verse, verse 21. We just read this in Revelation, though. Show you how the whole Bible go together. 26 and 21. Go ahead.
For behold, the Lord cometh out of his place to punish the inhabitants of the earth.
Is that what we just read in Revelation? He said heaven rolled back. It's going to roll back. And he coming down on a white horse, and in righteousness he doth judge and make war. And then we saw that he is going to tread the winepress of the fierceness and wrath of Almighty God. Well, behold, the Lord cometh out of his place, not to rapture nobody, right? To do what?
To punish the earth.
To punish the inhabitants of the earth for what?
For their iniquity.
For their iniquity. Go ahead.
The earth also shall disclose her blood and shall no more cover her slain.
You ain't gonna even, and he gonna have the resurrection come. They gonna come up, but you ain't gonna even be able to bury all these people that the Lord killed. But after that, he is gonna fix it. 27 and 1. Go ahead.
In that day, the Lord with his sore and great and strong sword shall punish Leviathan the piercing serpent. Even Leviathan, that crooked serpent, and he shall slay the dragon that is in the sea.
See, that's Satan. He going to put Satan down. But go ahead.
In that day, sing ye unto her a vineyard of red wine.
Oh, in that day, back to the song now, right? In that day, once the Lord come and fix this all up, Israel, the vineyard of the Lord, is going to be beautified again. Right the way it should be, in the place that he originated at. Not in Rome or somewhere else. In the land of Israel. In that day, sing ye unto her a vineyard of red wine. Go ahead.
I, the Lord, do keep it.
I, the Lord, do keep it. He didn't keep it at first, did he? Now he going to keep it forevermore. I, the Lord, do keep it. Go ahead.
I will water it every moment.
I will water it every moment. Lest what?
Lest any hurt it. I will keep it night and day.
Oh, the vineyard that he didn't keep in the meantime, he going to keep it permanently now, isn't he? Let's show you what that means. One more place, Ezekiel 43. Ezekiel 43, and we're going to pick it up at verse 1. Ezekiel 43 and verse 1. Okay, go ahead.
Afterward he brought me to the gate, even the gate that looketh towards the east. and behold, the glory of the God of Israel came forth the way of the east. And his voice was like a noise of many waters, and the earth shined with his glory. And it was according to the appearance of the vision which I saw, even according to the vision that I saw when I came to destroy the city. And the vision were like the visions that I saw by the river Chabar, and I fell upon my face.
Now he's seeing the future. He's seeing what we just saw when the Lord coming back. Go ahead, verse 4.
And the glory of the Lord came into the house by the way of the gate whose prospect is towards the east. So the Spirit took me up and brought me into the inner court. And behold, the glory of the Lord filled the house.
See, the glory of the Lord filled the house. Just like he said, the earth shined with his glory at verse 2. But go ahead, it filled the house. What else?
And I heard him speaking unto me out of the house. And the man stood by me. And he said unto me, Son of man, the place of my throne, and the place of the soles of my feet, where I will dwell in the midst of the children of Israel forever. And my holy name shall the house of Israel no more defile, neither they, nor their kings, nor by their whoredom, nor by the carcass of the kings in their high places.
Why? Because he got the vineyard back intact, and he is going to keep it every moment, and he going to dwell in the midst of Israel now. He ain't going to be outside the camp no more, brothers and sisters. He going to be in the midst of Israel. That's why I say in Luke 1 that Jesus is going to reign over the house of Jacob, which is Israel, forever. So Ezekiel seen a vision of this when the Lord come back and fix this earth. He said, Son of man, the place of the